You have everything you need.
I didn't come to see Ian.
You better come in. Tom! Ian had walked in, or...
Ian's otherwise engaged.
What does that mean?
Last night I went up to the kitchen for a drink and caught my mother coming out of his bedroom with her jeans in her hand.
It's impossible.
I don't really want to go back there tonight. Can I please stay here?
Yeah, of course.
Our story begins with Lil and Rose as young girls. It's clear that they are incredibly close, and they promise each other that they will always stay by one another's side and never drift apart. Years later, we see them all grown up. At that point, we're attending the funeral of Lil's husband, and we learn that both women have sons who are the same age. The boys seem to do everything together. As time passes, the boys grow up and become best friends as well, just like their mothers. One day, the moms are watching them out in the water, feeling proud of the young men they've become. It's obvious that the four of them have become like one big family. They spend their days together, sharing meals, having fun, staying up late, and enjoying life. Everything seems perfect. Later on, we see Rose's husband telling her that he's been offered a great job opportunity. The only problem is that it's far away from home, and he's considering moving the whole family there. Rose is shocked by the news. That night, after they spend some romantic time together, she tells him that he should accept the new job. One night, Rose wakes up in the middle of the night. Her best friend's son is staying over at her house, and she notices him holding one of her photo albums tightly in his arms. When she approaches him and takes it away, he calls out to her. It seems like he wants to tell her something, but he just can't bring himself to say it. Later, a man invites Lil to his birthday party at her workplace, but she turns him down, saying she's far too busy and won't be able to attend. When Rose gets home, her husband jokingly tells her that he's starting to get jealous of her best friend. He says it feels like she's married to Lil instead of him. Rose laughs and replies, "Don't say that. You're the father of my children, and you're the one who holds a special place in my heart." The next day, Rose meets up with her best friend and tells her what happened. Lil laughs and says, "Is your husband really that jealous of me?" Rose replies, "I wish it was just jealousy. He practically thinks we're a couple." Lil is shocked, and the two of them start playfully chasing each other around. Later, they sit by the beach, reminiscing about all the memories they've shared over the years. After that, we see Rose's husband leaving for his trip, saying goodbye to both his wife and his son. Once he's gone, Rose says, "Maybe I should go for a swim and clear my head." She takes a relaxing dive and swims to the spot where she and Lil usually spend time together. When she gets there, she finds Lil's son sitting alone. She sits down and talks with him for a while, then lies down beside him. The two remain silent, even though it feels like there are so many things they want to say. Yet neither of them can bring themselves to speak. From then on, the four of them continue living their lives together. One day, while music is playing, Lil grabs her friend's son's hand and dances with him freely and without a care in the world. Later that same day, Lil leaves her son at Rose's place because he has had too much to drink, and she heads home by herself. That night, as Rose is moving around the apartment, she notices that Lil's son is still awake. He approaches her, and the two quickly become involved in an intimate relationship. Surprisingly, Rose doesn't resist and responds to him as if it were completely natural. Unfortunately for them, Rose's son wakes up during the night and goes to the kitchen for a drink. To his shock, he sees his mother coming out of his friend's room with her pants in her hands. At that moment, he realizes what has happened between them. After that, he becomes deeply disturbed and withdraws into himself. Eventually, he decides to talk to his friend's mother. He opens up about his father and admits that he doesn't want to move away and live with him. As she tries to comfort him, he suddenly leans in and kisses her. However, she immediately pulls away and tells him that this can never happen between them. She reminds him that her son Ian could come home at any moment. He tells her, "Don't worry, Ian is in a relationship now." She asks him how he knows that, and he replies that he saw it himself when he visited their house that day. Rose is completely shocked and tells him that what he is saying cannot be true. After that, everything starts to fall apart. The boys stop going to the beach together like they used to, and even Lil and Rose no longer talk the same way as before. One day, as Lil is on her way home, she finds Rose's son waiting outside her house. He comes in with her and tells her that he doesn't want to go back home and would rather stay the night there. Lil tells him it's fine and that he is like her own son. But that night, things begin to go too far after Lil drinks a couple of glasses. Rose's son's friend enters her room and lies down next to her on the bed. The next morning, Lil seems to have accepted what is happening and decides to continue a relationship with him and live her life in the same way her friend does. When he returns home, his mother asks him, "Where have you been?" He replies, "I was with Lil, doing the exact same thing you've been doing with her son." She immediately slaps him and tells him that he is disrespectful and badly raised. He leaves the house and walks away. The next day, Rose goes to see Lil at work, and they talk about everything that happened. Rose tells her that they have crossed all limits and that what happened must never happen again. But when Lil later speaks with her son, she is shocked when he tells her that he loves her and does not want to be away from her. After that, Ian goes to Rose again, trying to get close to her. She tells him that everything between them is over. However, when she sees that he is upset, she tries to comfort him, and he ends up kissing her. She initially resists, but the situation escalates again. At the same time, Lil is also continuing a relationship with her son, and their lives continue to spiral out of control. In the end, the two women sit together and decide that they must finally be honest with each other about everything that has happened. Lil tells her that she has never felt this kind of happiness before, and that she doesn't want what is happening between them to ever stop. Later, Rose's husband comes back and tells her that he wants to move the family and live together in another place. However, Rose tells him that she can't do that. After that, we see Rose and Lil relaxing by the sea. Suddenly, they hear the boys getting into a fight, so they rush over and quickly manage to break it up. When they return, they sit together, but silence takes over between them. The atmosphere is heavy and quiet. Then Lil's son suddenly breaks the silence. He gets up and starts walking away. Rose asks him, "Where are you going?" He replies, "To your room, beautiful." Everyone is shocked by his words, while Lil looks visibly flustered and embarrassed by what just happened. Later, a man named Saul comes to Lil's house and tells her that he loves her and wants to marry her. She is completely shocked. Rose tells him that Lil is refusing his proposal. He leaves, disappointed, and afterwards the group ends up mocking him. The next day, the young men are seen competing with each other at the beach, while each of them spends time with the girls they are involved with. Everything becomes chaotic and messy. 2 years pass. We see that Lil's son is now working at the same place, while Rose's son has moved to live with his father. There, he meets a girl his age and starts getting close to her. When he calls Lil, he tells her that he is happy there and mentions the girl he has met. Lil feels a bit upset, but she doesn't pressure him and simply listens. Later, he spends time with that girl, and their relationship turns intimate. Meanwhile, the other young man continues his life with Rose, enjoying his time freely with her. One night, he takes his mother and his girlfriend and goes with them to a nightclub where they drink and enjoy themselves together. If anyone tries to approach them inappropriately, he steps in and immediately pushes them away. She tells him that he was a kind and pleasant man. He immediately takes her and drives her home, saying that he has to leave now because Rose is waiting for him. That day, Lil stands in front of the mirror and feels that she has grown older. She feels sad because her lover is not by her side. As we know, he is completely immersed in his love for a singer he is involved with. Later, he sits with his father and tells him that he has decided to go back and live with his mother. We then see him heading to the place where his girlfriend lives in the middle of the sea. She is extremely happy that he has returned to her, and that night they all gather together. He also tells them that he is about to start a new theater play soon. The next day, Rose returns home and finds her husband waiting for her. He brings her son's girlfriend and tells her that their daughter is about to turn 1 year old, and they should organize a nice celebration for her. On the day of the party, Tom introduces his girlfriend to Rose and Lil, but the situation is very uncomfortable for his former lover. The following day, Lil breaks down in tears, even though she knew this was going to happen. Her friend tries to comfort her, especially regarding her son's situation. That day, they suggest to Lil's son that he should also get into a relationship and marry someone his age, but he refuses and insists that he does not want to leave his girlfriend. Later, we see Tom getting married. His father goes to his friend and tells him, "Come on, it's your turn next." The man replies, "That's not my way," and leaves. During the wedding celebration, Tom's mother introduces him to a girl, and he goes with her. But strangely enough, later that night, he goes to Rose's house. However, she refuses to open the door and leaves him outside. Heartbroken and upset, he heads to the ocean to go surfing, but he loses focus, falls, and hits a rock. Afterwards, we see him in the hospital, where we learn that the injury was severe and damaged his spine. Days pass, and he recovers from his injury and becomes well again. Soon after, the girl he had been involved with at his friend's wedding comes to him and tells him that she is pregnant. Later, we see all of them together, each one now with a young daughter, playing happily on the beach. They seem very joyful, enjoying their time together as if nothing is wrong. When they return home, each woman shares a bit about her life, but but the conversations between them are no longer warm or kind. There is tension in the air. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Tom went to see Lil, and the two rekindled their relationship just like old times. Lil had missed him deeply and was overjoyed to have him back by her side. Unfortunately, the next day Ian finds out what happened. He took Rose to his room, argues with her, and tells her that he never wanted to end their relationship, but he did it only because everything between them had already been broken. While he is speaking loudly, the girls hear the argument and come into the room. They realize that each of the women is still involved with the other's son. At that moment, they take their daughters and leave, telling them never to look for them again. After that, Rose and Lil start blaming each other, but it doesn't affect them much. Everything eventually returns to how it was before, with each of them continuing a relationship with the other's son. Their lives are completely driven by these relationships. And as mentioned, this is just a fictional story and does not reflect real life in any way. And here our story ends. Goodbye.